So last week or the week before, I posted a short little like 1 minute video of a crack cocaine deal, and mostly to kind of show you what that looks like and to promote my course, The Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Surveillance. But I want to take a moment here and look at it a little more closely and dissect it a little bit because the question really is, do you know the difference between proof and evidence? Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Again, creator of Private Investigator training. You can find all that over at Shadow Anyone. Okay, here's the thing. When you have a client that takes you on, a lot of times, and you'll see this with domestics a lot, the woman will hire you because she wants proof that her husband is cheating. You really need to manage expectations for that type of thing with any client, but what is she going to consider proof? Because here's the thing, you're going to go out and you're going to get video, you're going to get evidence of cheating or infidelity. So you might get him going into a strip club. You might get him, instead of going to work on the weekend like he's told his wife he's going to the condo of his ex-girlfriend. When you bring this video to your client, to the wife, is she going to accept it as quote unquote proof that what she's asking for? Because there will be an excuse, there will be a reason. It was in that strip club because all the guys were going. It's Dave's bachelor party, and I knew it would upset you. I just didn't want to upset you with it. But nothing happened. I was perfectly, I was a gentleman there. With the even over at an ex-girlfriend's house, ex-girlfriend's condo or apartment, he's going to say, I knew it would upset you. That's why I didn't tell you. But she was getting smacked around by her boyfriend. She didn't have anybody else she could call. I just went over there to help her move her stuff out. That was all there was to it. So he's going to have explanations for whatever you bring, but it's just really evidence. It's not that proof. You're never going to get the stuff that you see on TV from like inside apartments and that. You may be fortunate on a case or two to catch a couple in a public park, maybe kissing, making out, that type of thing. But you're going to get evidence, and you need to make sure that your client understands what you're going to be able to bring to her, what you're not going to be able to bring to her, and manage those expectations. You get this with law firms as well, but not so much because they are really generally excellent clients because they've done this so many times, as opposed to a domestic case, an infidelity case, where this is a one-off type thing for them. And with a law office, the attorneys will tell you, or you should ask, what do you need? What do I need to bring you? What are you going to be happy with? What's the evidence that you need? And they'll just tell you right out that they need to catch the guy spending the night at a residence 3 nights out of 5, that type of thing, or any 2 random nights in 1 week that aren't, or 2 consecutive nights, whatever the type of thing is, maybe for a cohabitation type case. So let's take a look at that crack cocaine deal, talking about evidence versus proof. So the first thing I want to point out is I'm starting this video a little bit early online, or if you're kind of learning this or you think you would be good at it, but you wonder if you'd be good at it in real life. Man, the thing in real life is it takes forever to get surveillance video. And you frequently don't know exactly when something's going to happen, so you have to be very vigilant about it. And I could cut this down a little bit in order to so you could just jump right into the deal and see it. But I want to lead in, I mean, just for a few seconds really, before the deal, so you can see this is the way it is. You have to grind through the nonsense and the non-happening things. In this case, it's still artificial because a deal's coming. Maybe you even saw the video when I posted it previously. But let's take a look here. So here, the guy in the hat is going to be with the long coat. He's lighting a cigarette. He's going to be the buyer. A lot of times you'll see this with lighting a cigarette or pulling out a cigarette almost as cover before guilty activity. And then there is the transaction. There was the money changing hands. Now the guy that's a little bit out of view, he's dealing with the money right there. He's the dealer. He's the guy that's going to be handing out the crack cocaine. Now, we ask ourselves, how do you know that was money? How do you know that wasn't a phone number or directions? Well, it's evidence. It's not proof. Right now, is he counting out crack rocks or is he counting out change? Is he counting out Tic Tacs? He's counting out crack rocks. And I can just tell by the way he's handling these. And then look at this furtive movement, the movement behind the back. If I think even the most bleeding heart type person would be willing to say, okay, that is a little bit much. Why would you be doing that if it wasn't drugs that you were dealing? So that's a really good example of evidence versus proof. You could make the case, say it went to court, that type of thing. And this was not what I was really trying to get. This was kind of an incidental thing. We know that's a drug deal. Every cop in the neighborhood knows that that's a drug deal. How can you prove that to a jury of 12 people who aren't familiar with this type of thing? You know, there's going to have to be probably more evidence presented than just that. So, for example, the fact that this is a drug corner, that's a dope corner, hands down, 24/7. And maybe the prosecuting attorney wants to present evidence of that, of all the other drug cases they've made there. Maybe after this video was shot, that an officer would come up. So if it wasn't me shooting it, but if it was a police detective shooting it instead of a private detective shooting it, if a police detective was shooting it, he might call for a marked cruiser to come in and stop those guys now. And you're going to find the dope. You're going to find the money. And, of course, with the dealer, you're going to even find extra dope that he has yet to sell. Combine all that with that furtive, secretive movement, the behind-the-back pass, the looking around. The totality of the circumstances give you a strong case that that's a dope deal. It's all evidence, arguably not all proof. You could probably trick 1 in 12 people or 2 in 12 people on a jury into thinking that he was just giving out breath mints or something. Obviously, you can never predict what a jury's going to do. But there's the difference between evidence and proof. And your client better be prepared to accept that video as the evidence, the quote-unquote proof they need for their case. So if you were hired because of a child custody case to see and show and prove that this guy's dealing dope, would the law firm, and that's who you should be dealing with there, would the law firm think that this is enough? And if not, what do they need? Do they need more deals like this or whatever? So you go out and you collect the evidence. But evidence versus proof. You're just never going to get that proof that people really are dying for. Very rarely. It happens, but very rarely. So know the difference, set the expectations of the client. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.